while non-metals are neither malleable nor ductile. In place of that, they are brittle. While metals are good conductors of both heat and electricity, while non-metals are poor conductors of heat and electricity, and the exception is graphite.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so which is a good conductor of electricity. Then metals are strong, while non-metals are not that much strong. Also, metals are having a shiny appearance, while non-metals are dull. They are not shiny. In the case of metals, generally we see that they are strong, but there are some exception, like sodium, potassium. They are soft metals, right now. So which are not very strong and have got very low tensile strength. For
So
example,
they are
sodium,
also sharp in general.
they are sharp in general also. Since they are hard, so they are generally sharp as well. They will be having a sharp edge. So talking about the sodium, it is a highly explosive metal and it can be cut using a knife. Since it is highly explosive, thereby it is stored in a kerosene solution. Talking about metals, they will produce a sound when they are hit, while non-metals will not be producing sound, right? Metals are
Correct.
generally hard. Exception is sodium, potassium, while solid non-metals are also somewhat soft. Exception is diamond.
Yes, sir.
So do remember the exceptions. Exceptions बहुत ही important है. Okay, now.
Yes,
So let's continue from where we left in the previous class. So in the last class, we were talking about chemical properties of metals and non-metals. So first of all, you guys know that out of metals or non-metals, which one are electropositive?
so metals.
Metals are electropositive. Good. Because they lose proton,
Electron donators.
electron donators, right? They do not lose proton because proton is fixed in the nucleus,
Yes, sir.
right? Okay. So let's talk about reaction with the oxygen or basically reaction with air. ठीक है, air में भी metals specifically oxygen से react करते हैं.
Yes,
All
sir.
right now. So we had the example of the magnesium ribbon, right, Moaz? Okay. So here
Yes,
in
sir.
this experiment or in this, basically what happens when you brought a magnesium wire or a magnesium ribbon in contact of heat and in contact with oxygen, so thereby it reacts and forms metallic oxide, that is magnesium oxide here.
Yes, sir.
So what we get to see here, that metals react with oxygen to form metal oxides,
Yes, sir.
right? Second thing about the metal oxides that are formed here ना, ये metal oxides basic होते हैं nature में.
Ye- Yes, sir.
So metal oxides are basic in nature. You all must have studied about acids and bases in class 7.
Yes, sir.
So basically what happens, metal plus oxygen. Oxygen is coming from where? From air. So oxygen equals to metal oxide. Hope it is clear. Okay. How do we check whether the oxides are basic? ये हमने कैसे prove किया? Yeah. How do we prove this?
Yes,
That
sir.
how do we prove? All three of you tell me. How do we prove that this metal oxide is basic in nature? How do we prove that? Yes.
Sir, rust.
No, I'm talking here. Okay. Go on. You were saying something.
Sir, I said rust.
No. My question to you guys is that how do we check whether the general property of metal oxides are that they are basic in nature? But how do we got to know that they are basic in nature?
So they turn red litmus paper into blue.
They turn red litmus paper into blue. Yes. So you all must have studied about the litmus paper also. Right now, in nature, you have lichens. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Using the lichens, we make litmus paper. And litmus paper is basically an acid base indicator. Okay,
Yes.
so using a litmus paper, you can say whether a given solution is acidic or basic in nature.
Yes, sir.
So these comes in two colors, red and
Blue.
blue, namely. And you all know that if if you have a red litmus paper, and if you were to dip it into a basic solution, thereby its color changes to blue,
Yes, sir.
right? Arhan, was this color will change to blue.
Yes,
So
sir.
this means that this is a basic substance in nature. This is basic in nature. Also, you know that litmus paper will act only when it is dipped into a solution. Like
Yes, sir.
अगर आपके पास dry powder है, for example metal oxide का, it will not change its color. You have to have a solution. Getting this thing or not?
Yes,
So
sir.
you need to add water to the metallic oxide. To the metal oxide, इसमें आप water add करेंगे. Then you will check whether it is acid or base. Right? Basically, it is basic. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Let me write it over here. Note that the are are basic in nature since they turn the red litmus into blue. Hope that is clear.
So is it only the reason? There are several other reasons as well.
It's only the ribbon or reason you were saying.
Is there a reason?
Is that the only reason? I didn't get it. Complete the whole question.
Sir, is it the only reason why we call metals as basic in nature? Because it turns litmus paper into blue.
No, for a substance to be an acid or a base, there are several other criteria also.
Yes, sir.
Right now, it is not just like in uh, how can you physically say that this substance is acid or base by using the litmus paper, right now?
Yes, sir.
But when we study that, they are having what different type of ions in them. For example, a basic substance will have hydroxide ion in them. Okay, while an acidic substance will have hydronium ion in them. Basically, hydrogen होगा उसमें.
Yes, sir.
Remember, I told you this thing also in the previous class, like an acid. Give one example of acid.
Uh,
Say
copper
hydrochloric acid.
sulfate.
कॉपर सल्फेट भी हम ले सकते हैं, कॉपर सल्फेट और हाइड्रोक्लोरिक एसिड, right?
Yes, sir.
Take example of this hydrochloric acid, for example. This will ionize into H plus and Cl minus. Thereby you are having this. Okay. And copper sulfate, this is actually also having some amount of water in it.
Yes,
Because
sir.
I told you like whether like agar aapne turmeric powder, you all know it is basic in nature.
Yes, sir.
Turmeric powder, that is haldi,
Yes, sir.
right? In order to verify whether that turmeric powder is actually basic in nature, you can't just use a litmus paper on it. You need to mix the turmeric powder in water, then the litmus paper will work.
Yes,
So
sir.
it means कि acid हो या फिर base हो, water will always be present there. Getting it now?
Yes, sir.
So an acid will basically dissociate into hydrogen ions. Getting it? And whatever other metal is present there, it will be dissociating in that also. Hope that
Yes,
is
sir.
clear. So that is the property about the acids. So general चीज हमें पता है, like it will turn blue litmus paper into red. That I know about acids. When I will be dipping blue litmus paper into acid solution, it will turn into red, right? So these are the two ways in which we get to know whether a substance is acidic or not. Okay, and the base, you guys know, it will be dissociating into OH.
Yes, sir.
OH minus electron, OH minus hydroxide, OH minus ions. Hope you guys are getting it. Was
Yes.
you're getting this or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that is the reaction here. The reaction is very important. Make sure when you give examples in the exam, make sure you write the equation, the chemical equation. That is important. All right now.
Yes, sir.
So this is the example over here. That was Mg plus O2 equals to MgO, which is basic in nature. Now you know that this magnesium oxide, it will dissolve in water. Okay, it can be dissolved partially into water also. You know,
Yes,
okay,
sir.
so directly you won't be checking the litmus paper on this magnesium oxide. In order to
Yes,
verify whether it's a basic or acidic solution, basic or acidic substance, you have to add water to it. So what we do
Yes,
now? See, take the example magnesium plus oxygen, that gives you magnesium oxide. Later on, you will be adding water to it. Thereby, you will be getting magnesium hydroxide. That is
yes, sir.
MgOH whole 2. ये क्या है? Magnesium hydroxide है.
Hydroxide.
There
Yes,
is
sir.
rust in the category of reaction with oxygen.
Exactly, exactly. Along with oxygen, it reacts with water also.
Yes,
हाँ?
sir.
Damp air के साथ reaction होता है. Damp air, you know, the air that consists of moisture.
Yes, sir.
So I will be going there as well. So hope this is clear. So in order to check whether this is basic in nature, I will be taking this, or I will be taking this.
Yes, sir.
In order to verify whether whether the magnesium oxide is basic in nature, क्या मैं लिटमस पेपर मैग्नीशियम ऑक्साइड के ऊपर टेस्ट करूंगा, या फिर आई विल बी टेस्टिंग इट ओवर मैग्नीशियम हाइड्रोक्साइड?
So magnesium
The
oxide.
magnesium hydroxide.
Magnesium hydroxide, right, Moz?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Moving on, we have the reaction of iron with air also, right now. So for example, let's say the metal is reacting with oxygen also, and in air moisture is also present
Yes, sir.
right now.
Yes.
So when iron reacts with oxygen and with water also, so thereby
Fe2O3.
iron oxide is formed, that is Fe2O3. Good, right now. So ये भी क्या है? Basic oxide है. This
Yes,
is
sir.
also basic oxide,
Yes, sir.
right now. And where this water is coming from? This is basically damp air,
Water vapor.
basically water vapor here, right? So that is the thing here. So in this, again, we will get to see that this iron oxide is basic in nature. So what we can do, we can take some spoonful of rust from any rusted iron object. So
Yes,
you
sir.
will take some rust in a test tube. Let's say in a test tube, we have taken some rust powder. Now you will add some amount of water in it. हमने कुछ water add किया. Now mix it well. You will mix it well. And then what we will do now? We will take a red litmus paper. Okay, हम red litmus paper लेते हैं. So I will find that red litmus paper will turn into
Blue.
blue. So when I dip it into this, thereby it will turn into blue color.
Yes, sir.
So that proves
It is basic in nature.
exactly. Hence, rust, or that is iron oxide, is basic in nature.
Yes, sir.
Is basic in nature. Right now. So basically now we can conclude that this is basic in nature, right?
Yes, sir.
Also, iron is not the only metal that reacts with the damp air.
Copper.
Copper भी react करता है. Getting it
Yes.
now? Like you might have seen that several monuments have got a dome structure.
Oxidization.
Oxidation होता है वहाँ पर. See, several structures have you might have seen have a dome, and the dome is made up of copper. Copper का बना होता है, या फिर let's say कि copper plates है हमारे पास. You have the copper plates. So after some time, if it were to be left in open, it will turn green in color.
So, for example, Statue of Liberty.
Statue of Liberty. Have you guys observed this? That copper, if it were to be left for a prolonged period of time in moist air, it will turn green into color.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so thereby basically what is happening?
Oxidization.
Oxidization is happening. Let's understand this thing as well. कि basically क्या हो रहा है ना कि you have some copper. So copper will be reacting with the water vapor in the atmosphere. It will also be reacting with carbon dioxide. ये carbon dioxide से भी react करता है and oxygen से भी.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If I'm writing in short, I hope no one is having issues in understanding
Yes, sir.
these general things. So thereby it will form copper hydroxide.
Yes, sir.
Copper hydroxide is formed along with copper carbonate. Copper carbonate. And this is actually the green coating that develops over the copper substance.
Yes, sir.
Moz, you getting this?
Yes, sir.
So that's why we get to see that due to the deposition of a layer of copper hydroxide and copper carbonate over the copper utensils or basically any object that is made up of copper, it will turn into greenish in color. Okay, और ये सब कहाँ से आ रहा है? This water, oxygen, carbon dioxide, this is basically from moist air.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so we get to see that when a copper object will be exposed to moist air for a very prolonged period of time, the copper will be reacting with water, carbon dioxide, and
Oxygen.
oxygen in order to develop a green coating over the given object.
Yes, sir.
All right, now. So this is basically what happens. Hope it is clear to everyone.
So, what is the chemical formula?
Let me write that also. So मैं यहाँ पे लिख रहा हूँ. There's sufficient space here. All right, now. So that is CuOH whole 2. Copper hydroxide here, and this is copper carbonate CuCO3. ये capital C है. Capital C, small u, small o, 3.
Yes, sir.
That is clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me write a small sentence over here. Okay. When substances or copper utensils are left in moist air for a long period of time, it develops a green coating over it due to reaction of copper. Cu means copper, okay? Copper
Yes,
with
Yes.
water, carbon dioxide, and
Oxygen.
oxygen. So hope it is clear to everyone, right? And जिस तरह से हम कहते हैं corrosion of iron, okay, here also you will be calling this thing as corrosion of copper.
Copper.
Yes, sir. Oxidization.
Oxidization में basically oxidation होता है, not oxidization. Oxidation there basically what happens now? Oxidation basically means addition of oxygen. Okay,
Yes, sir.
addition of oxygen means oxidation, and here oxidation is happening. No doubt in that. But along with that, it is reacting with water and carbon dioxide also. All right now. So this whole thing is called as corrosion of copper. Moss, you also got this, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, at the same time, we can be talking about the non-metals here also. अभी मैं discussion जो कर रहा हूँ, like the discussion we are having, we will be parallelly discussing about chemical properties of metals and non-metals also. Okay. So what about the reaction of non-metals with the oxygen? Reaction with oxygen. So how do they react? So they will also be reacting, and they will be also forming oxide, that is non-metallic oxide. Okay.
Yes.
So when non-metals reacts with oxygen, it will be forming non-metallic oxide. Now you guys can guess whether this will be acidic or basic in nature. That will be
Acidic.
acidic, right? So this is acidic oxide. Okay. And also, like, we don't need to discuss like how we will check whether this is acidic oxide or not. All right now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there are several examples which, for example, sulfur reacts with oxygen in order to form
Sulfur
sulfur
dioxide.
dioxide. Okay. And sulfur dioxide, you know that it is the leading cause of what? Acid rain,
Yes, sir.
nitrogen
Yes.
oxide, and then oxides of nitrogen were also there. That is also the leading cause of
Acid rain.
Acid
acid
rain.
rain. Okay. By the way, those of you who live in Saudi, you might have heard of this seed clouding. Cloud seeding actually. Cloud seeding क्या आप लोगों ने सुना है कभी? What is this cloud seeding?
No, sir.
Anyone?
So artificial clouds.
Artificial rain basically. Artificial cloud, hence artificial rain. Anyways, so this term basically popped up here. Anyways, so let's get back to this. So we will be understanding how non-metals react with the oxygen now to form non-metallic oxides. So take example of the sulfur. Sulfur is a non-metal, right? Okay, so we will take some small amount of sulfur powder in a spoon like this. This spoon like this, and this is called as deflagrating spoon. What is the name of this spoon? Deflagrating spoon. And now
Yes,
we
sir.
will be heating it over this flame. क्या कर रहे हैं हम इसे heat कर रहे हैं flame के ऊपर. So you get to see that as the sulfur will start to burn here, sulfur burn करना शुरू करेगा, and the blue flames will come out of it. Okay now. So as the sulfur will start to burn here, but ये burn करना शुरू कर चुका है. Now what we will do now? We will put it inside a glass jar. इसके ऊपर हमने एक glass jar अभी रखा है. All right now. So we
Yes,
have
Yes, sir.
placed a glass jar over it. Now do what now? Remove this burning sulfur from here. यहाँ पे sulfur का smoke accumulate हो चुका है अभी. Okay, some smoke of sulfur has accumulated over here. So now let's remove this deflagrating spoon that consists of sulfur and then close this lid. In the third figure you can see. And sulfur dioxide smoke gas is already here. हमने इसे store कर लिया यहाँ पे. All
Yes,
right now. So far, is anyone having issue in this? Please do let me know.
no, sir.
Was getting this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now what we will do now, we have stored some sulfur dioxide gas in this glass jar. Now we will do what now? We will open this lid slightly. Okay, थोड़ा सा इसे open हम करेंगे. Now we will fill this glass jar with some water. All right now. Now we will basically check for the check whether the given substance we have is acidic or basic in nature. So we will take which litmus paper? Red litmus
Blue.
paper or blue litmus paper हम लेंगे?
Blue.
Blue litmus paper हम लेंगे. So we will see that the blue litmus paper's color will change into red. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
What we did here? Later on, इसमें हमने water add किया. Okay, so we did add water into it. Now water add करने के बाद क्या हुआ? Look here, this is sulfur dioxide. Let me help you with this equation, it will be better. Basically क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पे? Sulfur is burning in the presence of oxygen.
Yes, sir.
Oxygen के presence में burn हो रहा है. So thereby sulfur dioxide gas is coming out. Sulfur dioxide. Dioxide means there are two oxygens here. One sulfur, it means SO2 है ये.
Yes, sir.
Sulfur is a metal or non-metal?
Non-metals.
नॉन मेटल की हम बात कर रहे हैं.
Yes, sir.
There is carbon plus oxygen is equals to carbon dioxide. Also an example.
हाँ, that can also be taken in an example of a reaction of non-metal with oxygen. Yeah.
Yes.
See this thing over here. Now sulfur dioxide, that is SO2. Now later on हम क्या कर रहे थे? After storing it, we were adding some water to it. So now let's add water to it. So basically, sulfur dioxide plus water will now give you an acid that is called as sulfurous acid.
Yes, sir.
Sulfuric acid.
Sulfurous, no, not sulfuric, it's sulfurous. Sulfurous acid है ये. Okay, that is H2CO3. H2SO3. H2SO3.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sulfuric acid is different. That is H2SO4. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So thereby I get to see that this non-metallic oxide, which is acidic oxide, the acidic oxide,
Yes,
it
sir.
is reacting with water in order to form an acid, right? So an acid has formed over here. So thereby it will turn the blue litmus paper into red now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This turns blue litmus into red. Hope everyone got this,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
right? So it turned the blue litmus into red, basically showing that it is acidic in nature. All right now. So the conclusion is that metallic oxides are basic in nature while the non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature.
Yes,
Hope
sir.
everyone got this. So conclusion here was that metallic oxides are basic while non-metallic oxides are acidic. All right. Have a look at some of the compounds here. Okay. So see, you have some metallic oxides over here, metals
Yes,
and
sir.
bases. कुछ bases है हमारे पास, like magnesium hydroxide is a base. Huh? Calcium hydroxide or sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxides. These are some of the bases. And the name of the metals in them is basically the first letter tells the names of the metal in it. Magnesium, calcium, sodium, potassium, these are the metals on it. Also, look at the acids. Acids consist of metal or non-metal?
Non-metal.
Non-metals. So कुछ non-metals के नाम इस तरह से हैं. That is sulfur. Okay, sulfur again here. Nitric is basically nitrogen here. Okay, and then carbonic is carbon here.
Yes, sir.
Was Arham, Arhan. All of you got this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So bases consist of metals and acids consist of non-metals in them.
Non-metals.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Acid turns blue litmus into
Red.
Red.
red and bases turn red litmus into
Blue.
Blue.
blue. Okay. This hydroxide ion OH minus is found where? In the bases or in the acids?
Bases.
In the bases it
Yes,
is
sir.
found. While acid may
OH plus.
no H plus, simply H plus. You said H plus, no? I
Yes,
heard
sir.
like OH plus, huh? H plus. Hope that is clear to everyone now.
Yes, sir.
Next, we will be studying how the metals or the non-metals will be reacting with water. Okay. So see, like in the previous class, we already had the examples of some of the very reactive metals, and the reaction was very explosive. Okay. So the metals that you see, that metals will be reacting with water to basically give out metal hydroxide.
Yes, sir.
अभी तक हम बात कर रहे थे metal oxides की, but now since it is reaction with water, water is hydro term basically refers to water, so now it is called as metal hydroxide
Yes, sir.
plus hydrogen gas.
Plus pop sound.
Not in every case. Okay, not in every case,
Yes, sir.
because some of the metals will be reacting very vigorously with a very high intensity, while some of the metals will not be reacting with the cold water. You need to have hot water in order for the reaction to take place, right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
So, what would be the intensity of the reaction will basically depend upon the reactivity. It will be depending upon the chemical reactivity of the metal you have. Chemically, वो metal कितना active है?
Yes, sir.
All right, now. So that will basically define how explosive the reaction will be. For example, sodium, you guys know it is very reactive metal. If
Yes,
you were
sir.
to have few cubes of sodium metal and you were to throw it in the water body, there will be an quite a small explosion, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So ये sodium metal, it will be reacting even with cold water, right? Now it will be reacting with even cold water. Then you have example of like magnesium. So magnesium in comparison to the sodium, it is lesser reactive. So
Hot
thereby
water.
hot water के साथ वो react करता है. Magnesium will be reacting with hot water, will steam basically. All right, now then you have example of like copper, silver, or like the gold. These are also metals, but they do not react with the water with that much of intensity. क्या आपने कभी देखा है like the gold reacts with water?
Yes, sir.
Is that reaction very vigorous? Obviously no.
Yes,
So
sir.
that is the reason you have got the reactivity series of metals with which we will be dealing later in the chapter.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the thing to note here that the intensity of reaction between B slash W, whenever I write this, it means between मैंने लिखा है. Okay. So the intensity of reaction between metal and water will depend upon the chemical reactivity of the given metal. Chemical reactivity of the given metal. Also, the main thing to note here that in regard to metal, we get to see that when metal reacts with the water, a metal hydroxide is formed, and what?
Hydrogen gas.
And hydrogen gas is released. Hydrogen gas is released. You guys are taking screenshots or writing these things down or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we had the example of sodium. See this over here. Sodium plus water. That is basically very explosive. So यहाँ पर formation क्या होगा? Metallic hydroxide होगा, right? And you know कि हमें पता है metal oxides where
Acid in nature.
what? They were basic in nature ना.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir.
Basic in nature थे. ये हमें कब पता चला? जब हमने water add किया था उसमें. हाँ? So you
Yes,
have
sir.
MgOH whole 2. करेंगे ना. So ये क्या है? Magnesium hydroxide है. Meaning कि ये क्या है basically?
Basic in.
Metal hydroxide था ये. Metal hydroxide है. So the metal hydroxides that you are obtaining here, okay, the metal hydroxide that you are obtaining here, it is basic in nature.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Basic in nature. Everyone understood this thing?
Yes, sir.
So why equation? Let's write this NaOH plus H2.
Sir, in 8th standard,
NaOH.
we will only learn about the reactivity series of metals, right?
Yes, yes. Repeat that again.
In 8th standard, we are only going to understand the reactivity series of metals, right?
Huh. We are going to study about the reactivity series of the metals only.
Okay, sir.
Okay, now even in the higher classes, main focus is related to the reactivity series of the metals only. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Now let's continue. And this is sodium hydroxide. Remember the name of the base,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
sodium hydroxide. Then what about metals like magnesium? क्या magnesium cold water के साथ react करता है?
No, sir.
No. So remember this, that few important points to note here, that sodium, a very reactive metal, can react even with cold water. And the reaction was
Yes, sir.
as follows: Na plus 2 equals to NaOH plus hydrogen gas. And the sound that you hear, as Arhan was saying, that this is due to the pop sound produced by this hydrogen gas. Hydrogen gas एक pop sound create करता है, right? No?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So is it necessary that all metal oxides has to be basic in nature? Like, for
Exactly.
example, calcium hydroxide.
Exactly. No matter what metal you are having, the hydroxides or the oxides of every metal are basic in nature. But there are some exceptions. We will be studying about that also. What are the amphoteric metals, non-metals? वो भी हम study करेंगे. But in generally we study कि whether you have the oxides of metal or whether you have the hydroxides of metal. Whether metal oxide है या फिर हमारे पास metal hydroxide. All of them are basic in nature. Okay ना?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Also ये pop sound क्यों produce हो रहा है?
हाँ जी।
Because the hydrogen gas that is being released here, ना ये जो hydrogen gas बाहर निकल रहा है, look, the reaction releases extreme amount of heat. Extreme heat is released, and this extreme heat burns the hydrogen gas. So this causes a little bit of explosion. So another thing to be noted here, the extreme heat released causes the H2 gas to burn, and this kind of creates a little bit of explosion.
Yes, sir.
Talking about some exceptions, not like exceptions, basically talking about some other metals, for example magnesium. So it will be reacting with hot water
Yes, sir.
in order to form magnesium hydroxide plus H2 gas. Okay, so hope that is clear to everyone. What about the non-metals now? How do the non-metals react with water? You know that take example of sulfur. Sulfur is a non-metal,
Yes, sir.
and sulfur will not be reacting with water. ये water के साथ react नहीं करता है. Okay. Or in fact you have like considering some of the non-metals, they have to be kept away from the action of the air. They have to be kept underwater in order to protect them from the air, क्योंकि हमें पता है कि non-metals will be reacting with air. ये air के
Yes,
साथ
sir.
तो react करते हैं in order to form acidic oxides,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Now, so thereby, in order to prevent some of the non-metals from reacting with the oxygen, sometimes they are put under the water. All right now.
Yes, sir.
For example, you all know about the phosphorus. White phosphorus. ये बहुत ही explosive होता है.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Recently, you might have heard of the name of the white phosphorus in news.
Yes, sir.
It has been used. Its use is illegal, but it has still been used. So if the white phosphorus were to be kept in the open air, it will be reacting with the oxygen that is in the air, and it will catch fire.
Yes, sir.
So in order to prevent the reaction of the phosphorus with the air, it has to be put in a bottle filled with water.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's understand how does the non-metals react with water. So basic thing here is that in general, non-metals do not react with water. Non-metals do not react with water. Moz, you also getting this? Arhan?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So say talking about sulfur, which is a non-metal plus water, thereby no reaction takes place here.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Or second thing I did told you about that, in order to prevent the reaction of non-metals with air, sometimes we have to keep them in bottled water or basically underwater. So you have the example of phosphorus. So phosphorus को हम एक bottle में water के अंदर रखते हैं like this. Getting this thing
Yes, sir.
because it is highly explosive. I mean to say it catches fire when it comes in contact with air. All right. Any questions so far?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
Was everything clear?
Yes, sir.
Now let's understand about the reaction with the acids. Why you guys haven't turned your cameras on? Arham, was no. Most of the metals will be reacting with the acids in order to form salt and hydrogen gas. ज़्यादातर metals react करते हैं acid के साथ and then thereby salt and hydrogen gases form.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Acids भी हमारे पास दो types के होते हैं, right? One is the concentrated acid, one is the dilute acid. एक weak acid होता है, एक strong acid होता है.
Yes, sir.
So most of the metals will be reacting even with the dilute acid. Okay, while there are some metals which are lesser reactive. So thereby they will be reacting with concentrated acid, with a strong acid in order to form salt and hydrogen gas.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's understand this thing. So I said that normally metal will be reacting with acid to form salt and release hydrogen gas.
Yes, sir.
So we say that most of the metals react with dilute acid. Dilute means weakened, weak acid की हम बात करें. So most of the metals will react with dilute acids to form salt and release hydrogen gas.
Yes, sir.
अच्छा अभी हम एसिड्स की बात कर रहे हैं. ये क्या होगा? Metal plus oxygen will be, yes, that gives you,
Metallic oxide
and
plus hydrogen.
hydrogen. Okay. What about non-metal plus water? Non-metal plus water. ये क्या हमें देता है? Yes, Arhan, Moz. Non-metal plus water. ये non-metal लिखा है मैंने actually.
So non-metallic hydroxide plus hydrogen gas.
Moz, Arham. What about you guys? क्या non-metal water के साथ react करता है? Do they react with water?
Oh, no, sir. No, sir.
Right? Okay.
Yes,
Why
sir.
you guys haven't turned your cameras on? I don't understand. Huh? Moz, Arham. So note that thing also. And don't forget the things. Try to remember them and try to make notes of the classes.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, sir.
So you get to see that most of the metals with reacting with the dilute acids. Acids के बारे में मैंने थोड़ी देर पहले कहा, like acids are weak and strong also. Right now,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
weak acids में हमारे पास natural acids होते हैं. All the natural acids are weak acids, and then you have the
Yes, sir.
concentrated acid which can be weakened by adding water.
Yes, sir. Diluted.
That is dilute acid. And then you have the concentrated acids.
Yes, yes.
Concentrated acids. Also, you guys know कि अगर मैंने आपको dilute करने को कहा है acids को, say this consists of acid. How will you dilute this? Let's say कि ये concentrated acid है, strong acid है. How will you dilute this acid? You will add water into the acid.
No, sir. Add acid into the water.
Add acid into the water. You never add water into the acid. Especially अगर हमारे पास concentrated acid होता है, you will never be adding water into the acid because it will be a highly exothermic reaction. So
Yes,
much
sir.
amount of heat will be released and it will be an explosive reaction.
Yes, sir.
But in fact, I did this thing. I knew that this is an exothermic reaction while I was at your age. So what I did now, I had some acid, I had some concentrated acid in a glass jar, and standing from a distance, I did pour some water over it. And this was
Yes, sir.
basically a very explosive reaction, and the glass basically burst.
So what was the
Okay,
acid?
I don't remember the name of the acid, but it was, I think, at that time, now the acids uh, that were available in the market for cleaning the tiles. Okay,
Yes.
that acid I had. But nowadays, the acids that are available in the market now, they are the dilute acids.
Hmm.
Earlier,
Yes.
आपको concentrated acids मिलते थे market में. But in order to avoid the illegal use, now dilute acids are available in the market. Concentrated acids, you won't find that. Anyways, come back to the topic. So हम drop by drop add करते हैं acids water में. You add acids drop by drop into water. So while some of the lesser reactive metals, for example, gold, okay, or like
Yes, sir.
copper,
Platinum.
Silver.
platinum, silver, okay, or platinum, let's say. So these will be not reacting with the dilute acids.
Yes, sir.
They do not react with dilute acid. So thereby you will be requiring a concentrated acid for the reaction to take place.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Platinum. So it will be reacting with concentrated acids, not with the dilute acids. Why? Because chemically they are lesser reactive. Hope that is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's
Uh,
take example of here.
Except for copper, none of them reacts with oxygen to form
Ah,
rust.
That is also because the others are very less reactive right now. In
yes, sir.
fact, you get to see that gold rusts, but it takes a very long period of time in order to rust.
Yes,
Gold
sir.
में भी corrosion होता है, okay now, but it will take several years, so many years, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's take some example and then let's a magnesium की example लेते हैं. Let's take the example of magnesium. So magnesium will be reacting with, let's say, hydrochloric acid हम लेते हैं.
Yes, sir.
Hydrochloric acid in order to form magnesium chloride.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Magnesium chloride का formation होता है along with the release of oxygen gas, right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Or
Hydrogen.
hydrogen gas.
Hydrogen.
Hydrogen gas release होगा. Mg plus HCl gives you MgCl2 plus H2. So there you get to see that.
Does it create salt?
हाँ, exactly, that is a salt. ये
Is,
basically ये salt है हमारे पास, right now.
yes, sir.
Okay. Then you have other examples of metal. For example, aluminum. You have example of iron or zinc. They are
Yes,
also
sir.
known to react with dilute hydrochloric acid और dilute acids के साथ भी वो react करते हैं.
Yes, sir.
Okay
Because they
now.
have a high reactivity.
Exactly. Because in the reactivity series, they are somewhat higher in the numbering.
Yes, sir.
So we have metals like aluminium, iron, and you have zinc. that reacts with dilute, short में मैं लिख रहा हूँ HCl, dilute HCl to give. Okay, actually, do tell me one thing. Like MgCl2, that is magnesium chloride. Can I also not call it as metal chloride since magnesium is a metal here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Was ये मैं कह सकता हूँ, right? I can say this now,
Yes, sir.
right now. Okay. So we have metals like aluminum, iron, and zinc
Yes, sir.
that will be reacting with dilute acid to give metal chlorides.
Yes, sir.
Metal chlorides and hydrogen gas. And
Yes,
in this case also now, like ये hydrogen gas to release हो रहा है. For example, take a example of this, the reaction between magnesium and HCl. So if you were to bring a matchstick near to the hydrogen gas now, जहाँ पर reaction हो रहा है, if you were to bring a lighted matchstick near to it, so thereby it will burn with a pop sound.
Yes, sir.
Okay now. So hope that is clear. And then the lesser reactive metals like copper or the silver or the gold or the platinum, they will not be reacting with the dilute acids. Okay now. So since they will not be reacting with the dilute acids, so hence they will not be producing hydrogen gas with dilute acids. Hydrogen gas का formation वहां पर नहीं होगा.
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Is that clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now there's a small activity here. This is simple activity to show that when a metal reacts with dilute acids, then hydrogen gas is formed. So basically, the crux of the activity is that now you will be taking a small piece of magnesium ribbon. Magnesium ribbon आप लेंगे. All right, now you will be taking a piece of aluminum foil. You have several test tubes. You will be taking 4 test tubes. 4 test tubes आपने लिया है. You will put a small piece of magnesium ribbon in the first test tube.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
See, in this you have placed, let's say, Mg ribbon, meaning magnesium ribbon. In the second test tube, you have put some iron fillings. Iron fillings means iron powder है हमारे पास. Iron fillings. In the third test tube, let's say you have a piece of copper wire. This is copper wire. And in the fourth tube, let's say you have taken some aluminum foil. हमने aluminum foil लिया, let's say. Now, do one thing now. Let's start to add 10 ml of dilute HCl in each of these. इन सभी टेस्ट ट्यूब में हम 10 ml HCl ऐड करना शुरू करते हैं. All right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now do one thing. First of all, note the metals you have taken. You have taken magnesium, iron, copper, and aluminum. And all these metals are known to react with the dilute acids, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
अब okay ना?
Yes, sir.
But यहाँ पर exception भी तो है. Like copper, I told you, like copper is an exception here. Copper does not produces hydrogen gas when it reacts with the dilute HCl
Yes,
or
sir.
with dilute acids. Basically, dilute acids की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ. जब मैं dilute HCl कह रहा हूँ, I have just taken an example here. So when the reaction will be taking place between a metal and an acid, so thereby what will be formed?
Sir, metallic chloride plus
Basically, you
hydrogen.
should say salt. You should just say salt plus hydrogen gas should be formed,
Yes, sir.
right now.
Yes, sir.
So the hydrogen gas should be emanating from the solution. It should be coming out. So when what you will do now you will take a lighted matchstick. एक lighted matchstick आपने लिया है. Now you will start to bring this matchstick near to the mouth of every test tube. जहाँ से हाइड्रोजन गैस रिलीज हो रहा है यहाँ पर आप मैचस्टिक को लेकर आएंगे. Okay. So when you will be bringing the lighted matchstick now near the mouth of this first test tube, so thereby you will see that a pop sound is produced. Thereby it confirms that hydrogen gas is formed in this reaction. ठीक है ना?
Yes,
Was
sir.
it is clear to you also?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In the second test tube also, a pop sound is produced. Pop sound यहाँ पर भी produced होगा and here also. Okay. When you will be bringing the matchstick to the third test tube here, which consists of a copper wire. So thereby you will get to see that pop sound is not produced
Yes, sir.
because it confirms that
Copper does not react with dilute acid.
exactly. So that is the case here. So no pop sound is produced here. While in the case of aluminum foil, again
It is produced.
it is produced. So why this activity we basically proved that some of the metals which are more reactive will be reacting with acids in order to give out salt and hydrogen gas.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, hope that is clear. In the next class, we would be studying about the reaction with the bases. All
Yes.
right now.
Yes, sir.
Also, do note this thing before I end the class that non-metals now. The non-metals do not react with the dilute acids. Right now, we were talking about the metals. The non-metals, no reaction takes place there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's end the class here. We will be meeting in next class then.
Love is, sir.
Yeah, Allah Hafiz.
Love is, sir.
Allah Hafiz, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. How are you guys?
Fine, sir.
Yeah, I'm also good. Yo,
Fine,
Vaika,
sir.
Chikrika,
Fine. How are you?
I'm also good. All right, so let's continue. The chapter, we have completed this chapter. Okay. Only the anxiety part is left, and I believe you guys can solve it yourself. Huh? See the questions. If you guys are having any doubt in this, please do let me know, or I think it will take just 1 or 2 minutes. Let's actually do this.
Okay, sir.
Okay, now. So first question is the match the following question. Yeah. Stomata. What is the function of this stomata?
Transpiration.
Transpiration. That is transpiration. What about xylem sundar?